Hi, and welcome back to VoiceOver Startup. I'm Jeremy, and I thought it might be helpful to just show you how I record a voiceover in Audacity. Now, this is not the mic I usually use for voiceovers. I just kind of like sitting out here because it's a better place for videos. Um, this is not the mic I normally use either. This is the Samson CO1. I normally use an Electro Voice RE27, and that's a great mic. I mean, that's a $500 mic versus a brand new $75 mic. I picked up used for $30, so that was a good deal. So 30 is $40. I paid $40 for it used. For $40, it's a great mic, but you'll still get an idea of how I record and edit a voiceover in Audacity. I'm using a script that I actually wrote for a client here a few months ago. And let me share the screen here so you can see what's going on. Okay, ready? Here we go. Here's Audacity. You notice I've got my input here. I could probably be a little hotter. You basically want to just be hitting at the, if I get up here closer, you see it moves. I've got a compressor on. So that's the beauty of a compressor. Even when I get closer, my volume doesn't really get a lot higher. You hear the proximity effect is what we call that. The closer you get, it sounds different. There's a lot more bass and bottom end, but you notice the level doesn't really change. And that's one of the good things about a compressor. Anyways, let's record here and see how it goes. If you're like most people, you never think you'll need an attorney, but if you're like most people, you will. When you need an attorney, Law Lazari Law Firm is here for you. Our strong record allows us to promise our clients that if we don't recover monetary damages in your case, we won't charge you. Okay, now in real life, I'd probably redo that because there were some places where I was kind of running out of breath and I just wasn't real happy with that. But that's okay. You'll get the idea. And in fact, I started talking here at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get rid of that. So in Audacity, now, this is the way I do it. There's a couple things, and I'll just share with you the effects that I do. This is the way I do it. Some people might do it differently. But I recorded with a little compression going in, but in Audacity, you can add more compression. And I probably wouldn't add compression post, at the end, but I'll go ahead and do it just so you can see how that's done. But Audacity is really easy to work with. So here's my file. I just highlight the whole thing. I go up here to Effect. I hit Compressor. Okay. And this is how I have it set. There's my threshold at -12, my noise floor at -40. I've got a 2-to-1 ratio. My attack time is 0.2 seconds. My release time is 1 second. And to be honest, this is just trial and error, right? I have experimented and moved things around, and this is just kind of a sound that I've landed on that works. Other people might use different things, and that's what I would encourage you to do is experiment and find something that works best for you. So I'm going to apply this now and watch what happens to my wave forms here. Watch this. I'm going to hit OK. Boop. See what happens. That's what compression does. It pumps everything up. Okay. Now here's what I do, and I've seen people do it in a little different order. When you use a compression, it brings everything up. It also brings your noise floor up. So personally, what I do is I run the compressor before I do my noise reduction. Okay, because what it has done, it has pumped up the noise floor, and now I'm going to do my noise reduction. And to do the noise reduction in Audacity, it's a 2-step process. First thing, you highlight a chunk, just a second or two of a blank area. When I say blank, I mean there's no talking going on, because the whole idea of noise reduction is it takes a sample or a little picture or snippet of the background noise. Okay, so I'm highlighting that. I go to Effect. I hit noise reduction, and then I hit get noise profile. Remember, I told you it's a two-step process. This is the first step. I get the noise profile. My noise reduction is set at noise reduction 9 dB, sensitivity at 12, frequency smoothing bands at 3. Again, I don't know what some of these things mean. I've just experimented and moved around. And in Audacity, there's kind of defaults that are set up, and usually they work just fine. Okay. So I'm going to get my noise profile, which I did. Okay. That was taking the little snippet of this part. Okay. I just basically took a snippet from here to get my noise profile. Now I need to highlight the whole file again. So make sure it all turns white. I go to effect, I hit noise reduction again, and now I hit apply. Okay, and you notice all those little bumps, which represent noise, all went away. Okay, now here's the last thing I would do. There's some little spots in here we'll go in and clean those up. And usually I would probably not do that last, but I'll do it last because I want to show you the last thing I usually do, which is normalizing. Now, this is important, especially if you're going to be doing audiobooks. If you're going to do audiobooks on the ACX, Amazon Audible platform, they need to be at a -3 dB. And I'll show you how you do that. You highlight the whole thing, you hit effect, you hit normalize. I've got -3 dB selected there. I hit OK. Now watch what happens to my waveform. Boop, then it shrunk again. So basically what the compression does, it has pumped everything up, and then I go to normalize, and then it kind of squeezes everything back down within that -3 dB level. But what has happened is those sounds that were really low, they're still up louder than before because they were already within that -3 dB. But the peaks that are outside of that 3 dB range, they've been compressed down. So the net effect is your quiet sounds are louder, your loud sounds are quieter, and so they're closer in value. And that's why, I can get up really close and you'll hear me this way. It sounds a little different, but volume-wise, okay, it's about the same level. It just sounds a little different from that proximity effect. And that's what compression does. It evens it out. And so remember, I use some compression going in, but then I also put a little compression via the software as well. Okay, now here's what I would do. And you can just look through here and see some of these things. These here, that's where I took a breath. And for an audio, first of all, for an audiobook, you usually don't use compression. They usually don't want you to use compression. So that's the first thing to note. But for a typical voiceover, I'm usually using some compression. And what I'll often do is I'll come in, these little things, these are little breaths, mouth sounds, I'm slobbering, whatever. And I just highlight those and hit delete, and I can get rid of those. This is a breath. Sometimes I can magnify it. It makes it a little easier to cut it out. So I can come right here and I just highlight that and I hit delete, and that goes. Now, you got to be careful because if you cut all the breaths out, sometimes it slams your words together and it just doesn't sound natural. So here's another little trick you can do. Come to a quiet spot. Okay. I'm going to go up here to edit, and I copy it. And then I can come down here because here's a breath I want to take out also. So I'm going to do this again. I put my cursor there so I don't lose my place, and then I make it a little bigger. So now it's a lot easier to work with. Well, before I chop this out, I'm just going to paste that dead sound, that quiet part that I just copied, and I'm going to go edit, paste. So now when I cut out this breath that I don't want in there, I still have enough room between my words to where it'll sound natural. Okay, so that's just a little trick that you sometimes have to do. And again, in an audio book, I don't even know what this is. It might be over by now. This might have been me talking at the end. I don't remember. But I'm gonna, again, I got these plus and minus buttons, so I I usually like it about right there, to see what I'm doing. But there you go. That's what the finished waveform looks like. There's another little click there. That's probably some mouth noise or me squeaking in my chair or, whatever it is. So you can cut out all these little things if you really want, if it really bugs you, right? But to be honest, most of the time, people are going to add music behind it, and this stuff would not even be noticeable. But there's a little breath there. Remember, I copied and pasted that space. I still got that here, so I could just go boop and then cut out this breath. Again, that's just to keep a natural spacing between the words. Okay. And that's pretty much what I do. Okay. And then from there, let's just listen to it really quick, see how it sounds. I can cut off. I like to leave about a second at the beginning, and let's just hear how it sounds. Ready? If you're like most people, you never think you'll need an attorney, but if you're like most people, you will. When you need an attorney, Law Lazari Law Firm is here for you. Our strong record allows us to promise our clients that if we don't recover monetary damages in your case, we won't charge you. Okay, my phone dinged during the middle of that. And there's some noise. I mean, that's not a great, I was squeaking it. And that's another bad thing about recording it here. When I'm in there, I'm on this wooden stool that doesn't make any noise, where this chair makes noise. And you got to be aware of all that, especially with a condenser mic, because it'll pick all of that up. But anyways, that's kind of the process that I go through. And I'll just show you what I would do from here. Is I'd go up here to File. I'd hit, here's the way I do it. Export as an MP3. 90% of the jobs I do, they want them in MP3. Sometimes they want them in the WAV, but it's almost always MP3. Okay. And I'll just call this test, and I'll save. Okay. And here you could add all that information. I'm not going to do that. Okay. So that would be saved and ready to go. And I could send that off to my client. And that's pretty much how it works. Audacity works great. I mean, you can spend money on other programs that have more bells and whistles. To be honest, I haven't needed to. I mean, everything I've needed to do, I can do in Audacity. You can spend a lot more money than I have. I'm a budget guy, and it hasn't kept me from staying busy doing voiceovers. So you can spend a lot more money, but I don't think you have to. But anyways, hopefully that was helpful to you. Just to kind of show you how basic read through Audacity goes. Some people might do it differently. They might do some of those steps in a different order. Remember, the first thing I did was compressor. Then I did the noise reduction. And sometimes people do the noise reduction first and then the compressor. I like to do the compressor first, then the noise reduction. Then I do the normalize, and then I can, save it as an MP3. Thanks for watching. And if you have any comments or questions, please go into the comments and leave those with me. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thanks a bunch. We'll see you. Bye-bye.